Hey puppies! Welcome back to another Ninja Puppies video. Today, it's very cool. Cool, get it? Ice Spikes Biome. So, today we're playing in the first 1.18 official full snapshot. But, we're not going to be talking about 1.18 today. Today what we're talking about is what's in the sky behind me. A mountain. No, 1.19. Today we're going to be speculating a bit on what the next update to Minecraft might be. What will 1.19 be? So, before we start, quick disclaimer here. Very little of this will be an official statement. I know I definitely don't work at Mojang. Maybe even Mojang don't know what 1.19 will be yet. So, 1.19 has not been officially confirmed to be any update yet. That will probably be announced at Minecraft Live coming up soon. And so, yeah, take all of this with a grain of salt, pinch of salt, grain of salt, I don't know, whichever one. So throw some salt over your shoulder. I don't know. Anyway, all of this is speculation. A little bit of it is some detective work for working out what it might be about, but all of it is unconfirmed 100%. If I say anything is official, I will say specifically if this is an official source. Okay, so let's start off by talking about what 1.19 might be. Now, well, that's what this video is about. Anyway, big question. Will 1.19 be a big update or a small update? Will it be iron block sized or iron nugget sized? What do I mean by this? Now, you may be thinking, well, there are major and minor updates to Minecraft. Major updates like 1.14, 1.16, 1.17, 1.18, and then the minor updates like 1.17.1, 1.16.4, 1.18.2, you know, all that stuff. That's what a bigger and small update is. No. That's a major or minor update. What I'm talking about is whether the update will have a lot of features and a lot of changes made to it. So, I've got some examples down here. A netherite ingot and a honey block. So, when was netherite added? Whoops, no, my reach is too long. When was this added? 1.16. That updated the nether hugely. That was a big update. Not only did it just update the nether, it also added an entirely new tier of tools. That's something that hasn't been done for years. Then let's talk about when honey blocks were added. That was 1.15. What did 1.15 change? It just added bees, really, which is fine. It was a nice update. Bees are great. Honey was great for technical redstone, and now we can make huge flying doors and flying machines. So it wasn't a bad update. It didn't add completely useless stuff. It wasn't the poisonous potato update. It was the honey update, or the buzzy bees update. And so the big update was something like the nether update, the village and pillage update, and a small update is something like, you know, the honey block update. I suppose theoretically 1.12 could have been a small update. You could classify it as small because it didn't really massively change a bunch of stuff, but it also was quite big for building, so you know. And just like the big update was a huge update for redstone and stuff, so maybe you think, well, you know, I actually like this update more than that one because now I can build huge flying doors, which is fair enough. So, now we're going to talk about, which one do you think it will be, big or small? Now, big updates. Let's talk about the last update since I started playing Minecraft. I started playing Minecraft in 1.12.2, so technically I can't really talk about what 1.12 was because I started playing after it was released. So, and in 1.13, that was a pretty big update. Oceans pre 1.13 were disgusting, pathetic. No offense, Mojang, but they were. Even you realize that. So the update aquatic, I classify that as a big update. 1.14 was pretty big. 1.15 was small. 1.14 is kind of average, like in the middle of big and small, but probably still on the big side. 1.16, huge. 1.17, fairly big. I don't know technically if it was that big or not. It was big. It was big, but I don't know if it was massive. 1.18, huge. Just huge. And we haven't even got the deep dark yet, and it's already like huge. Lush Cave, just in case 1.18 is gigantic, possibly the biggest update Minecraft has ever had. If 1.17 and 1.18 were combined, it definitely would have been. Anyway, so I think, will the next update be big or small? Let's think about it. It went big, average to big, small, big, big, big. The next thing you probably think of is small. Perhaps it will be a small update. That would make sense if it was small. I'd be totally fine if it was small. In fact, pre 1.17, I was kind of thinking, you know, it would be fine if 1.17 was small. It wasn't. It was the biggest update ever. So if they go big again, I kind of have to say that small updates don't even exist anymore. Because they're probably going to go smaller, but they may go big. I mean, we don't know. I don't work at Mojang, so. Anyway, so before we continue, when are we going to know what 1.19 is? Well, probably on October 16th or 17th, depending on where you live in the world. October 16th or 17th. Why specifically that date? There's a date, you know when we're going to know? Yes. So that is when Minecraft Live starts. What is Minecraft Live? Well, it's a live stream run by Mojang that they do every year. They rename it almost every year. Minecraft Live, where they it's a live stream. They talk about the next update. They give a lot of releases. Basically, it's when they announce the next big update and talk about other things as well. It's when they first announced Minecraft Dungeons, I believe, the Builders and Biomes board game. It's when they released another update, not released, announced another update, the Bees update, the Caves and Cliffs update. Yeah. They announced all of that, not at the same time. Basically, it's just when they announce things is Minecraft Live. That was really terribly put together. Anyway, so the next thing, how are we going to work out with our clever detective puppy skills what the next update will be? Well, perhaps we should check the feedback. Now, the feedback website is where you can give all sorts of ideas and feedback on what you'd like to be changed or added into Minecraft. So perhaps we should head over to that website, because that might help us work out what the next update will be. Maybe. And here we are. So, here we are at the official Minecraft feedback. Whoops. Go away. Go away. The official Minecraft feedback website. So here we have announced items. This is things that will 100% be added into Minecraft at some point. Like, that's already been added, actually. And then we have things specifically for the Caves and Cliffs update. But one big thing to see is here. The under review. Especially if you're trying to work out what the next update might be. So here, it's sorted by the votes it's got on many people that have said, yeah, I agree, that's a good idea, and give it an upvote. So here we're looking at things that are under review. What does this mean? Well, it means that Mojang have come along and they've tagged that as something that they're thinking about adding into Minecraft specifically. So maybe if you look, so if you go show under review and sort by votes, you can see what is seen to be the best things that Mojang are considering adding. So here we have things like fruit trees and bushes, bed sheets with banner designs, backpacks, concrete, terracotta having slab stairs and walls. Please actually give that would be amazing. Seasons for most biomes, requesting a jellyfish mobs, owls, oasis, pet dragons, skylands, dyed elytras, cherry blossom groves. So the top one here is fruit trees and bushes. This has been the one that's got the most votes for. So if you think about what might be added now, how can Mojang turn this into a theme with things? Well, you've got fruit trees and bushes, and then you've got the seasons maybe. Maybe you could add owls and the cherry blossom grove all at the same time. That could work. Maybe you could add crabs, lobsters, and crab traps. Maybe you could then also add jellyfish mobs. And I don't know this, because that just can go with anyway. Just add that, please. And then this or something. So when Mojang do an update, they don't just go look through here and go, yep, we'll add the top one, this, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. They actually have to put it into all the theme. Like, you know, there was the Caves and Cliffs, you had the which was technically like two different themes because it was the mountains and the underground, but you know. So this is a great way to work out some things that probably will be added at some point. Shooting stars, that'd be cool. Dog beds, so it means your dogs respawn. Rice. Emerald armor and weapons. No way. That's a new review. Awesome! I would totally love to see that, definitely. So, if you look under here, you see some things that might be added, such as fruit trees and bushes, backpacks, little things like this. But checking under the review of the Minecraft feedback website is a way to come up with some things. Now remember, one thing that was very, very high up here, in fact, it was the top thing, was throughout all of the feedback website, the thing that had the most votes was the cave update, and that happened. So maybe we'll have the fruit tree and bushes update in 1.19. But of course, that is all just speculation. But something that isn't speculation and is definitely in testing, and we know that 100% for sure, is this. Combat. Combat update version 2.0. 1.9, I think, was the combat update. It added lots of new things, including the little attack bar indicator, and people that love spamming clicking still playing like versions previous to this for whatever reason, just because they loved spam click. Now the combat update or test snapshot thingies are kind of like the experimental snapshots for 1.18. They were unofficial, you couldn't find them in the launcher, and they were little things that changed a lot about how Minecraft's core of like combat and also food worked. So the combat update, it was, I think, a personal project of Jens, or Jeb, or Yeb, or I can't pronounce it. Anyway, and yeah, the combat update. So changing combat, so it was more similar on both Bedrock and Java, because currently it's very different actually. The combat update. Now they haven't done any combat tests in quite a while. That's probably because they're too busy working on 1.17, 1.18. But perhaps the combat update could be the next update or the update after that. Maybe it will come soon. Now they once said that they don't want to do a just combat featured update. Like combat shouldn't be the big thing or at least the only thing in an update. So perhaps we could have the combat update and the food update. We all know, maybe you don't, but food needs an update in Minecraft. Let's take a look at all of the foodstuffs here. So think about all of this amazing, cool food that you can eat. Now think about how much of it you will actually eat in a Minecraft survival Let's Play. Or the world. Maybe. There. Probably around 4 foods. I mean, maybe carrots somewhere in there, possibly glowberries, maybe even honey, maybe cooked chicken, probably not cooked rabbit, maybe cooked fish. So a couple of things are in there, but there's also other foods like the biscuit, dried kelp, mushroom stew, apples. I mean, golden apples are special. I guess raw fish, rabbit stew, you never really eat that, even though it's amazing for foodstuffs. Spider eyes, rotten flesh, I mean, that's just there. And then there's poisoned potatoes, baked potatoes even. Lots of these foods are never really used because the only difference food has is how much saturation and hunger points it gives. So you probably start off with sweet berries because they're easy to farm early on, but then after a while, get rid of sweet berries. You might even jump from sweet berries straight past bread to something like steak if you build a cow crusher. Then eventually you may skip cow crushers and go with hoglet meat, so cooked pork chops, and then eat that forever, like I've done in a couple of my survival worlds. But there are so many foods in here that have really no use, such as the cake. I mean, I know it's just a lie, but it is delicious. And it's such a shame that there are so many foods that really never have a use, such as tropical fish, for example. Sweet berries are kind of useful, steak is amazing. What if we had the combat and food update at the same time? This is not something that I know will happen, obviously, but I know there will be a combat update at some point. And perhaps, if they want to, they could do a food update at the same time, because food needs an update. Perhaps there could be, you know, something different about each food. Sweet berries, I don't want each of them to give like a different status effect, like golden apples or anything. That would just be kind of crazy, and you constantly have status effects. But how could there be more advantages to different foods? I don't really know. I might do a video on like how a food update could work sometime later on. Perhaps there could even be something like cooking. Perhaps you could have some sort of cooking or, you know, chefery in Minecraft, so that maybe you don't have to directly give use to things like carrots and raw salmon and, you know, pumpkin pies or beetroots. Perhaps you don't have to actually, almost all of that is completely the wrong example. Two of those, one of those is already cooked and the other two can be cooked into something, so. And then glowberries and things like that, maybe even honey. Sugar. So we do almost have cooking in Minecraft. We have beetroot soup. Obviously you can just cook the things in a furnace, so that exists. Then there's rabbit stew, beetroot soup, mushroom stew, suspicious stew technically, which is anything that's not in the creative inventory. And then cakes. And there's other things like cookies or biscuits or whatever, which are kind of cooked, but they really are crafted. As basically everything is apart from stuff that needs to be smelted. Maybe there could be some new way, I don't really know how Mojang would do it, that you had to gather different ingredients and you'd make them into a better food source that could have some advantage in some way. I don't really know how you do it, because you don't want to just give status effects, you don't want to give way too much saturation or something. Or maybe you nerf all foods and then only cook like the special chefed foods are the best. Something like that. I mean, I don't really know, but there is some way that they need to update a lot of foods. A lot of foods like tropical fish and things are getting left behind. When you think about how rare it is to get a tropical fish and how absolutely garbage its actual food is, there needs to be some way to make these guys better. Also maybe poisonous potatoes. But I think poisonous potatoes is a joke. Like they're just trolling us with poisonous potatoes. They'll never get it. They'll never get used. But then also, when you remember, if you think back to the last Minecraft Live from 2020, they were showing off axolotls. On the player's hotbar, they seem to have one very interesting item. What the frick? I can't speak. They had poisonous potatoes. Oh, it's so delicious. They didn't add poisonous potatoes. They showed off poisonous potatoes on the player's hotbar when it was interacting and hanging out with axolotls. Then, what did the axolotls' food source become? Oops. It became buckets of tropical fish. Tropical fish had no use previously. That means that during that, we're fairly certain, the reason there was poisonous potatoes is because they wanted to add a use, a food, something like poisonous potatoes or tropical fish. They wanted to make poisonous potatoes have a use, and they thought the axolotls were a great way to do that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to feed a potato to an axolotl, so I see why they went for tropical fish, of course. But perhaps poisonous potatoes will get a use at some point. These things can't even be composted. Like, ouch. Another thing that I'd like to see, and we need to see at some point, and will be added at some point, is of course the biomes update. So, also talking about the Minecon, Minecraft, live streams things. If we think back a little while, way back, to the first one that was a live stream, I believe, was when they said we're gonna do a biome. They did a biome choose a vote thing. The three things that were in that one, I believe, were the Savannah Swamp, maybe, or was that the next one? Was it Savannah Desert? It might have been Savannah, Desert, and Targa. I know Targa was in it 100% because Targa won. The next one probably had the swamp in it. It had a different biome. I don't know, Birch Forest do need an update, obviously. They're so boring. It would have had the swamp, there's something else in and then the mountains. The mountains was in, and now mountain update. When are they gonna do that? Like, give me a mountain update. Seriously, we need a mountain. Wait. By the way, this is an incredible seed. You want to see the seed? There you go. I actually spawned in the world, like right over there. It was so crazy. And there's this massive ice spikes that goes up a mountain over here. Super cool. Cool. Ba-dum-sh. Okay, so the biomes. Now, they've said before that the biomes that didn't get an update, that lost the vote, would still be updated at some point. When will this point be? Well, we're looking probably for a fairly small update topic. Maybe the food and cooking update will be too big. What about a biome update, where we update all the biomes that lost at the same time? Is that a little bit unfair to the ones that lost in the second biome vote? Yeah, it is. But, nah, we just need an update. We need them to be updated all at once. So, yeah. Perhaps we'll see a biome update at some point, possibly in the 1.19. We know they're going to be updated at some point, 1.19 being the time. And so that's going to just about conclude this Ninja Puppies video. I hope you have enjoyed watching. And, well, there are many questions still left. 1.19b. We're going to have to wait a couple more weeks for Minecraft Live 2021 to be able to find that out for sure. But until then, stay crafty, and I'll see you soon, puppies.